we will talk about the rubric oversensitive is my rubric for today in the mind section. Sensitive, oversensitive. And if you see this in the complete repertory, it has 527 remedies in this rubrics. And there are many, many sub-rubrics. One of the very interesting kind of repertory that I would like to introduce to you today is Clark repertory. And this is also a repertory which is one of the only repertory which has a section called as temperaments. And it also has one of the rubric which I use very often. When a patient comes to you and tells you that I have taken every remedy that doctor you give me, causes too much of an oversensitive condition, and my body reacts too oversensitively to every remedy that you're giving me, doctor. There is a rubric for that. Temperament, medicine too much oversensitive condition produced by and remedies fail to act. And there is a remedy, Teucrium marum varum. So this is a very interesting kind of remedy in this rubric, which is worth kind of understanding. And this is specially given in Clark repertory. Of course, this is also given in Kent repertory, but Clark is one of the repertories in which it's given. And from there, we go to a Nair repertory. And Nair repertory has another some very it's a repertory based on herring guiding symptoms. And as you know, close relation of Nair and herring, but it has given in generalities, oversensitive to pain. And here remedies which are typical pain remedies like chamomilla, aconite, coffea cruda, nux vomica, these are given. Interestingly, I feel that it would be interesting for me to talk to you about oversensitivity as a rubric, and especially sub rubrics of oversensitivity and how every remedy is here. Oversensitive to arts and literature, carcinosin. Carcinosin are people who are very oversensitive to art and museum. Recently, I went to a city, Florence, and it had the most beautiful kind of cathedrals, the architecture there, the buildings, the paintings, the sculpture, the great David sculpture, and so on. So what I saw is people who are very sensitive towards the museum, towards the art. They are all inside in the museum trying to get the tickets to watch this brilliant art. They are all carcinosin people. But the people who are more, a lot of people in Florence actually didn't go to the museum. They went there just to eat different type of pizzas and pasta. They were probably Medorhinum. So just by understanding what a patient is very sensitive to, where they go, how they live their life, explain you a lot about their inner patterns. Interesting. For example, certain people are typically very sensitive to colors. Certain colors they are sensitive to. For example, the remedy tarantula are very sensitive. The children who are tarantula children are very sensitive to the color blue, green, and red. It's a very typical sensitivity of tarantula. You can see here. Sensitive to even imaginary things, Staphysagria. Very sensitive. They imagine things. There is a symptom in Fatak. Imagines insult. They imagine, my God, I go into the airport, and what if they say something about my color? What if they say something about my dress? What if they say something about my history? What do those people think about me? My God. We haven't still gone to the airport. We haven't still met anyone there in the airport, but you start imagining, what if they insult me? Staphysagria. So interesting. Just understanding rubrics in this way. Actually, we have written a book about mind rubrics in the similar fashion in which I'm explaining it, called as Decoding Mental Rubrics. And the book is, I had recently given to our colleague from Austria, and I hope he will be kind enough to share something about this book towards them. Sensitive to moral impressions. What it means about moralities, about right and wrong. Am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Ignition. Very important. Am I doing the right thing? What am I saying? Is it the right thing to do? Moral affections, right and wrong. So interesting. Huh? Sensitive to even crunching of food. You're sitting in a table, everyone is eating yum, 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 yum. The lysinum person will be so sensitive nice with this noise that they will just take one of the kind of forks and just this is typical for lysinum. Sensitive to crunching of food. My God. So interesting. It's a typical pattern of lysinum. Sensitive to any kind of noise. Typical for SRM, coffee, and theridion. Typical SRM. SRM are so sensitive. My God. Even if there is a slight, they can just get so affected. They are one of the most sensitive remedies in homeopathy. SRM, European, belong to the camphor family. Sensitive to odors, especially foul odors. Paris quadrifolia. They're walking on the street and suddenly they smell something very offensive. Maybe dog shit, and they're the other person may not even feel it, but Paris quadrifolia will feel it very deeply. In fact, dioscoria is another remedy who, even after walking through the street where there is shit, the smell is so sensitive that even if they go 10 kilometers later, they can still feel that smell inside. Oh, dioscoria. My God. Sensitive about what others say about them. Very interesting. I hope you are all getting this step by step understanding the deeper patterns of the remedies in every rubric, and typically in understanding the rubric sensitivity. This is how you understand homeopathic repertory. Sensitive about what others say about them. Ambra. Ambra is so conscious about what others say about them. Very often I have seen Ambra patients during the consultation not even look up, they will be looking down. Or they will be hiding. This is very typical for Ambra. Another remedy, Calcarea cup. Calcarea cup is a little different. Calcarea cup is not just sensitive about what others say about them, but also just sensitive being observed, that everyone is looking at me. Am I doing the right thing? People are looking at me. Palladium, also sensitive to what others say about them, but more than what say about them, Palladium is more interested. They should talk something nicely about me. They should say that I'm really good, that I look really good, that I talk really good, that my work is really good. I want to find a way by which they should appreciate me, flatter me. This is typical for Palladium. Sensitive to certain persons, natrum carb, ammonium muriaticum. One person in their life, they are very sensitive. I don't want to meet that person. Everything is okay, but that person, I don't want to meet. Sorry. Natrum carbonicum. So interesting, huh? Every rubric. Some people are not sensitive at all. Sensitive want of sensitivity means no sensitive at all. And two big remedies is opium. Of course, opium is the lack of reaction remedy, painlessness. Whatever happens, you hit them. Opium doesn't pain. Sorry, what are you talking about? What? Opium. Phosphoric acid. Want of sensitivity. You're talking to them, they are like, they are not interested in talking to you. Indifference. And another remedy is lorocirrhosis. Want of sensitivity in lung and heart conditions. So this is a little bit of the entire oversensitivity patterns that I wanted to talk to you.